Hi friends, welcome to Java Coding Skill. Today we're going to talk about anonymous class in Java. Have you ever used this collection.sort and pass your list and using new comparator? Or if you notice this diagram, while writing the Swing and AWT programming, we are calling this button.addActionListener and we are overadding this ActionListener ActionPerformed method here like this. Or if you're familiar with Spring JDBC, we frequently using this new result set extractor and we are creating our own custom object while overriding this extract data method. So if you follow this style, means you are aware of anonymous classes in Java. Anonymous class is nothing but one kind of inner classes. Inner classes we are writing within the class, rather this anonymous classes we are writing within the method. We are not within the body of the method, rather we are writing within this parenthesis where we are passing the parameter for the method. We are writing that anonymous classes within that. This is our method. Inside that method calling, suppose this collection.sort is a kind of method. Inside that method we are passing our these anonymous classes. Anonymous class, if you notice this from here to here, this is nothing but one kind of object, that is this comparator class object, the type of comparator class object. Suppose if you write one class here like my comparator implements this comparator, and if you override this compare method, two parameter we are passing in comparator method, writing something. So rather you can pass this here, new my, like new my comparator, that's done. Or you have to provide all this thing which you are providing from here to here inside here this method. If you're writing like this is not anonymous classes, rather you are creating one separate class and implement this comparator and pass that class object here. But this method is very specific to particular requirement, rather creating one separate class, implementing those things and passing that object here, it's not required. If something is very specific, that is no more going to use anywhere else than your requirement, you can implement like this, new and your interface name, and you can provide the overridden method here itself. So that is anonymous class kind of style. The question here is, this is we are using, this is JDK provided interfaces and all, so we are using as anonymous classes. But have you ever created your own anonymous classes? If no, we will going to talk about that, in which kind of requirement or use case we can also write the similar code while creating our custom classes and all. So our focus is, end of this video we will able to write our own anonymous classes. So for that, assume we have one student service. Suppose we have one student service here. This is one kind of class where we have register student method. We have register student method where we are registering the user, student. This is student class, and here we are validating student first, so we are calling validate student. Usually we are doing validation for anything, then we are storing into the DB, or further action we are taking after this validation. But suppose tomorrow if you have some more feature added to this class. Suppose you are going to register this student for exam as well, so you have to write one more method here, register student for exam. Register student for exam, like that. You have method here, you are passing the same thing, student, and here you are validating validate student or validate exam detail or something you can write, and again here doing some further action. So similarly, if something more requirement has come in the future, you have to follow the same pattern, validate that thing and do further action, validate that thing, do further action. So your this class going to expand like anything, and you have to write this method for anything. Like suppose here you have some utility classes where you are writing this validate student, validate exam and all. So that class also is keep growing, and you are causing a too much tight coupling here. So that is not a good idea. Even that is a kind of a structural programming, rather you are doing in object oriented manner. So how can we overcome with this? So we can have one idea here, rather calling this validate student here and writing this validate student separately. We can do one more thing. We can create one more layer here, or we can create one more class that is a kind that is a very generic class where we are doing validation and all, and provide means common thing there and a specific thing in this particular method itself. What I mean is, let me write here. Student validator, we can write that. Or we can write student handler or something like that. This is a kind of class. Inside that we have method, process and validate, or validate and process. Validate, let me write neat and clean way. This is a class. Validate and process. Here we can provide the same thing, student. Here we can call that s.validate, and here we can do further thing. So for that we have to create that validate method inside that student class. Here we have like name, email address, so on, and a part of that we have validate method. We can write validation logic here, so we can avoid this thing. We can avoid this thing. We need not to call this method from here, that is very tight coupled, and we have to write this method in one of the class that is also redundant and all. So rather we are not worrying about anything here, rather just we are calling here student validator dot validate and process, and we are done, right? Similarly here also we can call the same thing. So somehow we are reducing the coupling and providing some flexibility that student validator is common for all this method, so we can reduce a lot of code and it looks clean and crispy as well. But the problem is there. The biggest problem is, suppose this student class not as a part of your project, means you don't have this student class, means you don't have any control over this student, so you can't modify this student class here, right? So what else we can do now? So if we can't change this, so we have to continue with this previous approach, that is also not good. So what else we can do? So we have to think about that, right? So here the idea is we can introduce that anonymous classes feature. How can we achieve that? For that, this student service, the left part is remains same. This should be remain same, and we can remove this, and we can continue with this. But within this, let me write in separately here. So what I'm talking is, let's student service as is. Student service. Here we have register student. Here we are passing a student. Yes. Here we are, earlier we are calling validate, so we are not calling here now. So rather, what we are doing here, we can continue with the student validator here, student. Rather calling student validator like a student handler or manager or something, that looks a little good. Let's make handler something, or student processor. Okay, so what we will do is here, we can write validate and process. The method name is same. One slight changes here. Here we are passing the student object as, that is also fine. That is student, like student, yes. And we'll pass one more parameter here. That parameter is something that I'm going to talk here. Let's keep aside and we will fill this part later. Okay, so in validate and process method, we will pass two parameters. One is student, yes. Second is, I'm going to talk later. So inside this method, here we will do something, right? That will also I will fill later. So keep this aside for a moment and come here. So here what we will doing is, we will call this student processor dot validate and process, and we will pass here yes and second parameter that I'm going to talk. Okay, so this method we are calling as is, which we are doing earlier, but the only difference is earlier we are passing one parameter and here we are passing two parameters. So for that, I'm going to create one interface here, one small interface here. Interface validate, validator, we can say validator, and inside validator we can write one method validate, that is abstract method, that we will override here. Just create one interface there, and my second parameter is this validate, validator v. This is our second parameter, and here we are calling v dot validate. And we are writing further code like registering the user in database and anything, any action that is common, that I'm not going to talk, that is very specific. So only our thing is, instead of calling this validate method from here, then doing certain action here, and the same thing we are repeating in register exam as well. So we will remove all those coded common code from there. So we will write those common code here. We will write this common code here. Only the thing is, how we are validating that this student validation might different, that exam validation might different. So what all the thing is very specific to the particular flow or particular method, that only we are doing here, and we are passing in the form of object here. So for that reason, we can introduce anonymous classes concept now. So here you can write like that, like new. Be attention here, please. So here we are writing new. We can write validator interface, validator, new validator, open close parenthesis, like this. Inside this, we can override this validate method. Override validate. Inside this validate, we can write our logic. This should be a boolean, of course. So here also we have to make that boolean. If validation is false, we can return false. If validation false, we can return true. Based on this validation, we can proceed further. So what we are doing here? Here we are calling new validation and new validator, and we are overriding this. So if you compare this code with comparator and that result set extractor, that action listener, the same style we are writing here, right? From here, if you notice that from here to here, it looks like the same, right? Second parameter, we are writing a new interface name validator, and we are overriding the particular method. So this is the concept of the anonymous classes. So if you don't want to write this anonymous class like this, you can create one class here, my validator. Inside my validator class, my validator, you can implement this validator interface, and of course we have to override this validate. And this is the class. You can, rather passing these many things here, you can simply write here new my validator. That's all. So if you compare this code with your comparator, exactly the same. So this is the use case. This is one of the use case. If you want to write some kind of framework or a kind of any generic logic, like this is a very generic logic for exam, for student, for scholarship, or anything. Only validation is different in all the scenario, right? Remaining thing we are just persisting in the database, that's saving part and common, like sending email and anything. If you want to perform, that is common. You have to identify your use case, your business. So in that way, you can design your design like this. So if the one thing here, if you want to design something very generic, those generic things and those common things keep in this one kind of method inside any method, and the variable thing, which is the case to case might vary. Like in my case, registering student validation might different, creating exam might different. So that thing which is variable, that might vary case to case. For that, you can introduce the anonymous classes, pass that interface reference here, and provide implementation from the client code. So in future, you should not touch this code. Suppose one more requirement has come, like exam and like maybe some different competition exam or something. So you have to just write one more method in the client code, and from that client code, you can provide this validator. That's all. So this code remains same and untouched, and no need to worry about this piece. Only you have to focus on your client code. So that's how you can design very loosely coupled code, easy to maintainable code, and looks clean and crispy code. So flexible code as well, right? Let's jump on the coding part. So This is my public static environment. Here we will call our that anonymous classes concept and all. Just let us start from that. First, let me create that student service. I will write all the code here only. So let's create a class student service. Here we have public void register student. For that we have to pass student. Let us create a student object here, class student. I'm not going to take much variable. Let's just let's say 2-3 member, just for demonstration purpose. Private string name, I'm going to take private string age, that's all. Exam and all, I'm not going to take exam object, rather just a string exam. You can assume exam object later. String, okay, fine, that is fine. This main thing. Let us have some setter getter. That's fine. Student class is ready. So let us pass here. Student, sorry. So here we have to call that student processor dot validate and register and process, something like that. Let us write that class name as well. So class student processor validate and process. So here we have to pass two parameters, student and second base that interface. Let us create validator, interface validator boolean validate. So second parameter is validator. So here we are calling that validator dot validate. Then we are calling something. I'm just writing some SOP statement for time being. Here we are calling. I'm going to say DB. Here you can write that DB persistent logic that I'm not going to write here. So our this processor class is ready. Now let us write this. Here we will write either you can make this static and all. Let us make a static for time being. So student processor dot validate and process. Here we are writing student comma. Now our anonymous classes. So here new validator. So automatically it will come. Let us write some logic. If student dot get is less than 15 year, return false. Okay, I think I made age as a string. Oh, sorry for that. Let us change to integer. Is not somewhere refactor. Okay, let me refactor that. Type, make that integer. Okay, our logic is ready. If a student age less than 15, I'm going to fail the validation and further action should not be taken. So one more thing we have to change here. If validation succeed, then only we will going to process, right? So let us change that logic. If validation success, then we are going to proceed, otherwise let me write here one more statement, validation failed. This class also ready, I think. Okay, we are all set. So now we are going to create some 2-3 student, and we will try both the cases, in one of the fail validation and the success validation. So let us create quickly one student object, student1 equal to new student, student1 dot set age equal to suppose 20. In this case validation should be pass. So student1 dot set exam, set name something ABC, or let's see past validation student, something like that. And let us quickly create one more student here, that is 2. Let us create age 12. So in this case validation should be failed, right? So here failed validation, something like that. So object is ready. Let us call this student service, student service equal to new student service, student service dot rest student, student1, and I'm going to call one more time, student service dot rest student, student2. Let us run that. In first case it should be validation should be pass, the second case should be fail. See, for first student I am going to save in DB, means validation passed. If you see the logic, if validation pass, I'm going to show in the DB. If validation failed, for second student, if you want to prove that, let me write some toString method here, and we'll print the student object there, so we get to know whether for which student it's showing like that, right? Okay, so after that I'm going to print that student. See, the age is 20, means validation is past validation student, and it's going to save in the DB, and the age which is less than 15, it's going to fail. So our focus is not about this business logic, our focus is about how to write this anonymous classes here, that we are going to achieve here, right? We have already achieved it. So if you don't want to write like this anonymous classes way, you can also use this other approach. Create one class, my validator, my student validator something, my student validator implements validator. So let me copy the same code here. Okay, for that we have to pass this student in this method, right? So we have to design in such a way. Okay, let me quickly change if you want. Here we have to like that student, something like that we can call student. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, here also we have to pass, right? Okay, that is fine. Let me copy this business logic from here to our custom classes. Now what we are going to do is, let me remove this, or better to comment this for time being. Let me write in that way: student processor dot validate process student comma new my student validator. That's all. See, same thing we are going to achieve here as well, right? So that's what anonymous classes, either you can use an anonymous class style or you can use normal style today. The same concept, which we are using here, using anonymous classes and in this implementing this interface way. The same concept called strategy builder, strategy design pattern. The same thing, even we are using, but we are not familiar with that. If someone asks, do you know a strategy design pattern? We might know, we already know this concept, but we are not able to relate our knowledge with the particular terminology. So make sure, just make a note of it, the same concept called as a strategy design pattern as well. So I hope you are clear with anonymous classes concept and all. If you really like the video, please subscribe my channel, and if you want such kind of video on any of the topic, please mention in the comment. I will try my best to create on video on those topic as well. And please like and subscribe the channels and press the bell icon to not miss any future notifications.